everything in between. Want to join in? Call or text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
Oh, you bet it does. Welcome in to this Wednesday edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. It's Andy Humphrey and Brenden Schaefer here. One day closer to Mizzou, South Carolina. And, well, what do you know? At least a little bit of an inkling as to how South Carolina might be leaning towards Lenore Sellers being available. Interesting.
Okay.
Whoever texted Pete Thamel saying that they are positive on all of that. We'll get to that coming up very soon. We'll talk about what that means. We'll talk about what some of the injuries on the Chiefs' latest report mean as well as they get set to take on the Giants. We'll also today have our SEC football tiers at 5:05. I'll try to stop Brenden from putting Vanderbilt on the top tier. I'll try
Good
my
luck.
best. I don't know if I'll be successful, but we'll get to that at 5:05. And then we'll also have our top 5, bottom 5 NFL quarterbacks today, which also will be very interesting. Brenden kind of pushed for this and said, like, Andy, you sure you don't want to make a change at the top?
I will talk about Mr. Pat, Mr. Mahomes.
Yeah.
And how he ranks. You know, hopefully he slides into that top 5 this week. That'd be big for him.
Oh, boy. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. You can also tweet us at KTGR Big Show and find us on Facebook at facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
The latest bit of info we know now on the Lenore Sellers situation is that there is optimism around him potentially being available against Mizzou on Saturday. Pete Thamel of ESPN reporting today, according to his sources, that Sellers has been at practice all this week and that there is a positive sign for his availability for Saturday's game. We will learn maybe a little more information after the SEC mandated availability reports come out tonight. Wednesday, or the first one is Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll see another one tomorrow night at 7, another one Friday night, and then another one 90 minutes before game time on Saturday. Tigers take on the Gamecocks with a 6 p.m. kickoff on Saturday, sold out Memorial Stadium. The Yuengling Tiger Game Day Show begins at 3 p.m. that Saturday afternoon. And that is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 17th day of September 2025. You can call or text us here at 875-KTGR to weigh in on what you think all this means. I mean, if they have optimism, I guess I shouldn't believe differently on that. How optimistic you feel about it as a Mizzou fan or not, I guess is up to you. But positive sign, it seems, for Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, I would say that sources that indicate he's been at practice tells us a little bit more than the opposing coach saying, hey, I think he's going to play. Like, that's our anticipation. That's what Drinkwitz said yesterday. I think he approached it the right way. We talked about that. Now you're adding a little bit of a new piece to the puzzle, which is conceivably, a source that would have intel on the actual South Carolina side of things, saying, and the tweet in verbatim is, there's optimism around the status of South Carolina quarterback Lenore Sellers for the game at Missouri on Saturday, per ESPN sources. He's been in practice, and there's positive signs for his availability. Take that to mean whatever you mean. ESPN sources says, he's been at practice, and that's a positive sign for his availability. I think I asked Monday what you thought as far as a percentage that he would be available to play. I feel like you said like 50-50. Yeah. I can't remember what, if I even answered the question on record. What's your percentage right now?
Oh, now it's like, at least 75, probably 80 that he plays. I'm gonna go there.
I'm gonna go. It would feel a little bit, only slightly disingenuous for me to say 100%, but I'll say 95%.
Yeah, I mean, it is a
Dude's
big
playing.
swing in that direction. When you send that tweet out, like, look, maybe they're putting up smoke screens. I don't know, but if you're putting up smoke screens for the starter potentially playing, and then the backup comes out there. I guess, are you getting an edge from that? I don't know. I think because
Maybe.
again, this is a different situation. It's not different type of quarterbacks. I mean, one's more talented than the other, but it's kind of the same build, same style that South Carolina is going to want to get out of that position, whether it's Sellers or Doty out there. So I don't know what kind of benefit you're getting from saying that he's probably going to play versus the other way around.
I think trying to think about how I want to approach this. I think the benefit, if you're South Carolina, would almost be like the do-si-do, the other way around, where, it doesn't look very good for Sellers. And like, we'll see with the availability report. Maybe it says a doubtful on there. It'll probably say questionable. But if it throws a doubtful on there, remember this conversation that I'm not looking at that. I'm listening to more of, a Pete Thamel over an availability report, which of course, people don't like that. That's kind of the way that we've been trained to think about these things, because the advent of the availability report for the SEC was supposed to be, so things could be more on the up and up. Everybody's got transparency. I am of the belief that it does not get utilized in that way. Because I don't know that there is the enforcement or the oversight to, and maybe I'm wrong about this.
Well, not as much as the NFL. Like, it could develop that way eventually if you put more guidelines upon it, and you maybe punish teams for not being as forthcoming about it. But
what if you're
right
too
now
forthcoming? Again, Brady Cook being doubtful last year, I'm not suggesting wasn't factual in the moment. Given the injuries he had, you could have made a case to say, well, it's going to be tough to get him to play. But like, internally, did they think Brady Cook is that guy that there's not any way we're keeping him off the field for this game? Like, is there a little bit of that where the other side could be, if South Carolina wants to obfuscate a little bit and play, maybe they color outside the lines a little bit with the way that they could approach this. There's a Thamel tweet that gets everybody riled up and makes them think he's playing. And then there's an availability report that maybe throws some cold water on that if he should happen to be listed as doubtful. I think questionable is the most that reasonably you could do. But like in the NFL, the problem is when there's a guy that has an injury and you don't mention it. It's why several Sunday mornings we have seen quarterbacks added late, like a Kyler Murray added with an illness, just so everybody knows that, like, if he comes out there and doesn't look good, it's because he's got tummy troubles or something.
Right.
Like, they have to go above and beyond. To do it the opposite is sort of intriguing, where it's like, I don't know, looks like our guy might not play. And so you start to play mind games with your opponents. And we've seen this outside the bounds of the availability report. How about the linebacker for Kansas that was supposed to not be available? We didn't really talk about it. Bengali Kamara was supposed to be non-contact injury in practice. And next thing you know, he's playing the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You're going to tell me there are college teams that aren't trying to play mind games with the opponent? Give me a break. Sellers is going to play regardless of what that report says tonight. That is my firm belief.
Oh, unless it says out. Then
unless it says out,
right?
And it won't say out.
I don't think it'll say out.
I will be. No. I'm 100% sure it won't say out tonight. If so, we'll clip this off and have fun with it tomorrow. But I think there could certainly be gamesmanship going on. Is it your interpretation the same as mine that when you think about coaching rivalries, that Shane Beamer, Eli Drinkwitz, there's just a little bit of friction there? Doesn't that feel like if it's unspoken or if it's maybe spoken behind the scenes, who's to say?
I think there is a little bit of that.
You see that mini movie, end of the mini movie where Drink said, I'm talking about the Louisiana game, the mini movie that Mizzou football releases.
Yeah,
the end
just
of it
came out today. I did see that, yeah.
I think it was yesterday it came out. But Drinkwitz said, they got something and I want it back, referencing the Mayor's Cup. Yeah. I think that he's going to have the boys ready for this game. But I also think, it's just my opinion, I don't really have a lot to back this up, but it feels like there's some friction there. And these two coaches really like to beat each other when they get the chance.
Oh, it's not even just that mini movie. That's the evidence. Like you'll go back a little bit further. There's some little inklings of.
Wasn't there a podcast that Beamer was on and he kind of talked around there being one coach, and it just, I for whatever reason, I got it in my head that it's Eli Drinkwitz, and I feel like I feel like the feeling might be
And
mutual.
look, like if you remember last year in that game that Mizzou lost in South Carolina, and like Shane Bieber was jumping for joy after that win with how it was. I think it meant a little bit extra to
I think there is
get at least one because he had not been there had been a winning streak that Mizzou had against his teams, I believe, up until that point. And so he finally got one over Drake. And so, I absolutely sense that. And look, it's unspoken and it probably will remain unspoken, and that's fine. I get a little bit of that.
I hate to put words into anybody's mouth when I don't know, right? But we're a radio show talking about this rivalry. I feel like I just wanted to bring it up and test the waters and see if anybody else might feel the same way. And you know what? Good. I want that little bit of an extra edge for a rivalry game. I want the fan base to have that little bit of extra edge behind what's going on Saturday night.
This is why I want this to be one of the permanent games, but going forward, 9-game schedule. It needs to be Oklahoma, Arkansas, South Carolina. It needs to be Mizzou's 3 permanents going forward. Which, it was interesting. We heard from Greg Sankey, I think a week and a half ago. He's at the Kansas game, and he did a brief little media availability beforehand. Not a lot was learned, but they did talk about the fact that with the 9-game schedule, you had asked Brenden before about, will there be a reset? Like, are you going to reshuffle the deck a little bit of when the teams rotate onto your schedule? Looks like they'll start out, as they say, as soon as possible with a 4-year layout of what it could look like. And so
that makes sense, I think. Yeah.
And so that could mean, I don't know for sure what that means, but it could mean that maybe your permanents change after 4 years. I don't know. Permanent might not absolutely mean permanent, but it could be interesting.
I think it would mean they shuffle the deck with regard to the other 6.
Sure.
Where like when you have your 3 permanents, but then Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, like there's a 6-pack that you play every other year.
Yeah.
And then there's a different 6-pack that you play every other year. After 4 years, those 12 teams, I think, would get shuffled up. And so there may be a period where you play a non-permanent rival 2 consecutive years, but that's just between year 4 and year 5 where it gets shuffled. And that to me would be the best way to do it. And we'll see, down the road what that ends up meaning. But with respect to this game, I couldn't agree more that and look, I think it even a little bit predates Eli Drinkwitz and Shane Beamer being at these respective programs. Mm-hmm. But certainly while they're here now, and again, with the Sellers thing, and look, if I end up being wrong, I'll own that. But I think there's value to kind of laying the land. So far, I have proven correct when it comes to, hey, everybody, Mizzou's winning this game, but minus 13.5 is a number that will not get any bigger, and it's going to get smaller. Currently, Mizzou, I believe, is minus 10 at the sports books. So that happened. Monday to today, it's already moved the other way. How much the seller stuff plays into that? Probably a decent amount. But I'm telling you, there was that week leading up to the South Carolina game where Brady Cook was listed at one point as doubtful, and it came to be that he played in the football game.
Yeah.
I am telling you, Shane Beamer didn't forget it. And so whatever you might think, and again, I'm not accusing anybody at Missouri of doing anything that they shouldn't have done. I think that was handled appropriately, frankly. I just am letting you know, I think Shane Beamer remembers it, and we will see if there is any fun and games that happen over the next 3 days. Don't get it twisted, and Mizzou won't either because Drink will tell him not to. Lenore Sellers is going to play in the football game. That's my true belief.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. How do you react to the report from Pete Thamel saying that there is more optimism around Lenore Sellers being available on Saturday? We get to the texter here. I think Daniel and James are kind of asking the same question, so I'll kind of combine it a little bit. Daniel saying if he can play, let him. I really don't think it will make a difference, but also if he plays, how healthy is he? Damon and Zion can have a day on him. James saying, I hope Sellers plays. Probably won't be 100%. So, if this is an injury, in fact, that is not a concussion, which would mean, if he is, I don't want to read too much into it. Thamel did say he was at practice. it doesn't mean that he wasn't just standing on the sideline at practice and not doing anything because he's out with concussion protocol. We don't know. But there was that door left open in the language of the tweet. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but
no, I don't think you are, because there's a number of forks in the road that this could still take. Yeah. I point back to Luke Doty mentioning the reps haven't been different. So like all of this, I believe is put out there with a reason by somebody, whoever it is.
Okay.
I believe it's put out there with a reason. And if that reason is simply to keep you guessing, Andy, then that's enough, because they want Mizzou to take their eye off the ball.
Oh, right? Yeah. I think that makes sense.
That's all it is.
But if it's not a concussion, which I think would necessarily mean it's an injury that Lenoris Sellers is told, hey, you're good enough to play. It might hurt a little bit for you, but you can go out there, and that would probably not fall in the concussion category. Well, then is it a benefit to Mizzou to have a not 100% Lenoris Sellers out there instead of the alternative? How do you feel about that?
I don't believe that to be the case.
Okay.
I do believe you're dealing with a head injury here. I don't know.
So you just think it's a concussion for sure.
I think, what else would it be on that targeting hit if you watch the video? It could be neck soreness. It could be back, sure.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of connected. I think it's a protocol situation, and nothing I've seen reported, if we're walking through this, tells me that it's not. Like, to say he's at practice, to your point, could very well just mean, hey, he's there. He's allowed to be there.
Right.
What was his activity level? That's not going to come out. Shane Beamer has been Fort Knox on the topic. He's referring everyone to the availability report. So again, that's going to be Shane Beamer attempting to tell a story. That is my belief, is whatever is out there. It's not to say that they're going out of their way to obfuscate or tell the wrong story, but it's whatever is put on there will be to tell a story. And Missouri just needs to ignore it in the same way that I'm going to ignore whatever they say is going to indicate yes or no on Sellers. I don't think it will. There's going to be a lot more to this, and there may be more twists and turns. And I just think it's an advantage to the team that internally knows who's starting at quarterback more likely than not. They've got at least an idea on what they expect. And if they continue to throw up, roadblocks and obfuscation and muddy the waters on either side of, yay, Lenoris is playing, or, ooh, doesn't look good, it doesn't really matter. It just gets the other side to take their eye off the ball. And I just don't think Eli Drinkwitz is going to fall for that. But that doesn't mean that the other side won't make it an attempt to try and get in the minds of that defense. And the fact that we're even asking the question, well, what if it's a different injury and then that means Lenoris is limited? Well, what if somebody on that defense is convinced of that and then suddenly he's not limited? No crap, he did something against us that we weren't expecting. You know what I mean? I just think there's a lot of mind games.
Well, but it's not to say that the team would treat it like he's limited. No, they wouldn't. But as a spectator watching, would you predict that it is better for Mizzou's defense to have essentially Lenoris Sellers out there, which, by the way, at 100%, Lenoris Sellers hasn't looked all that great so far this year.
He hasn't.
He's had to do a lot. Hasn't. He's been under duress a lot, and so that's played into it. But a less than 100% version of him now. Just as an outside viewer, do you feel a little bit more at ease with it? And I still believe that it matters more what his offensive line is doing. But
I agree with that.
But in the end, I do think if he is out there, it means that he wasn't dealing with a concussion. That's my guess.
Interesting. I don't know if I agree with that, but I understand the logic behind it. I don't believe that, as a spectator, I don't believe that if Lenoris is out there, there's an angle that I could go, ooh, this is actually better for Mizzou's chances because maybe he's limited.
Sure. I know that's a hard thing to believe. Yeah.
I think Luke Doty is a capable player. I think Luke Doty does not have the ceiling within a rivalry game when the chips are down that Lenoris Sellers has, no matter what he's dealing with this week. Lenoris Sellers scares the crap out of you. We've seen him do it. We witnessed it. We experienced it firsthand. And so you respect that. You respect what Luke Doty can bring in the same way that you respected Thomas Castellanos, in the same way that you respected the kid from Buffalo, right, who could move a little bit. The same way you respected, Jalen Daniels a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Like, all these guys are cut from a similar cloth. I feel like there were more Pavia. I mean, you had to respect Pavia, of course. I'm not going to rank him for you, but with like Luke Doty, that's still what I'm thinking is like, don't let this kid Pavia you. He's got a lot of experience. He can move. He's Taysom Hill for South Carolina. We have seen enough NFL football to watch on Sundays over the years. Taysom Hill, make a highlight reel because you're like, nobody was expecting that from Taysom Hill. And then 4 weeks later, he does it again. Don't get Taysom Hill by Luke Doty. But no, I am not looking at it going, hey, if Lenoris is out there, great. At least we're not facing Luke Doty because Lenoris is probably only 80%.
Yeah.
That's not how I view it personally.
Call or text us 875-KTGR.
Though.
Yeah, I mean, every so often you wonder, but I do think you're ultimately right. If Sellers is not out there, I think that tips the scales much more to Mizzou's favor. Let's go to Matt here on the KTGR hotline to weigh in on all of this. Matt, what you got, my friend?
Fellas, what's going on?
Not much. What you got?
Got a question and then literally nothing else.
There you go.
We'll see how
We're
much
ready
of a
for
waste
it.
of time this question is.
We're ready for it.
Would you say that you're a Lenoris buyer, that Lenoris Sellers is playing this weekend?
Oh,
my brain hurts already.
Oh, my goodness.
Am I a buyer?
I'm sorry to do this.
Sellers?
I'm sorry to do this, Matt, but this is for you.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
wasn't. Matt didn't deserve that.
I'm sorry, man.
Matt didn't deserve that. That was an 8 out of 10. That's an 8 out of 10 question.
Okay, I'll play the different one. I'll play the different one. There you go.
I'll give him a little golf clap at least.
There you go.
On that. I am a Lenoris buyer in Lenoris Sellers taking the field on Saturday night on Faurot Field. Yes.
Oh man.
And it's not because I know anything about this ain't a HIPAA violation, gang. I feel as though the tea leaves, sometimes in college football, tea leaves get you farther than you think. You know what I'm saying? It's the reporting is what's going to win out most of the time. But when there are coaches that are using the reporters as pawns in their game, sometimes tea leaves will actually get you a little further. And we'll see on Lenoris Sellers, but I have outlined my belief about the relationship between these two coaches. I have called reference to Brady Cook being listed as doubtful and then playing in the game last November. And so I would say that Shane Beamer playing a game with this and trying to use it to his advantage, if there is one to be extracted, is a game that he can play. And there's really no downside to it because he controls the narrative and holds the information. So more power to him. Missouri, in my belief, is not going to get caught up in this game because there's only a pit of despair to be gleaned from it. There's nothing to be gained from Mizzou to go, oh, is it Doty? Oh, is it? Nah, they're just going to prepare for their game and say, we anticipate Sellers will be out there because that's their starter. And, we'll see what they say about if he's listed as out. Otherwise, that's probably who they'll play. And if not, well, by gosh, we're going to be ready for Luke Doty, assuming that's the backup quarterback, because he's a talented athlete and can beat you in a number of ways. That's by the book. That's how they've treated it. And that's what I would want to hear from Eli Drinkwitz. And that's what he's given us so far.
How do you feel about it, Mizzou fans? Call or text us, 875-KTGR. The latest update from Pete Thamel of ESPN saying there's some optimism around Lenoris Sellers playing at quarterback this Saturday in Columbia, Missouri. So let us know your thoughts. You can also comment on our YouTube channel. We're live right now at KTGR Sports. Be sure to check that out and give us a subscribe, a like, and a comment as well. Up next, we'll start with the bottom 5 NFL quarterbacks because we like to poke fun at the bottom to start things out and go backwards all the way on up. We'll get to that next. You're on The Big Show, KTGR.
The Big Show with Andy and Brenden continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They're my car people. I'm proud to say it. And if you go to Lee's Tire Company, you'll be proud to say it too, because whenever I bring my car into Lee's Tire Company, I know that I'm getting an honest assessment of what my car needs. If I need new tires, I know they've got an incredible selection to choose from, and they run specials every single month to put money back in your pocket if you need those new tires. And also, they've been family owned and operated in mid-Missouri for decades, and they treat their customers the same way they treat their families. So if you haven't experienced the Lee's Tire Company difference yet, go and check them out at leastirecompany.com. If you need new tires, you can browse through their extensive catalog, see which ones you need for your vehicle, and then go check out one of their 3 locations. They're on the Business Loop in Columbia. They're at University Garage right by the MU campus, and they have a location in Centralia that you can check out. Lee's Tire Company, they are the place to go for tires in mid-Missouri. Go check them out at leastirecompany.com, because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leastirecompany.com.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering, and with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
You've already met a few members of the Family Pond family. Now it's time to meet the newest one. Family Pond's South Columbia location is just off South Providence. And just like every family pond, it's got a personality all its own. Different jewelry, different tools, different gadgets and gear. That's the beauty of the family. No 2 stores are exactly alike. So after you stop by your favorite, swing by South Columbia. It's your newest Family Pond store to explore.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pond.
Epic Bug Battle Raps. Brown Recluse versus Tick. Fight.
Yo, Tick, you think you're sly, but you're an amateur fighter. I'm a brown recluse spider, spitting venom, cause I'm a better biter. You codependent loser, latching on skin. I wish we weren't related. You a lame arachnid. So sit back and relax while I bust on your bloodbath. I weave a web of truth. You're just needing a feeding and getting fat. Be ready for defeat when we meet, cause all it takes to kill you is a couple minutes inside a dryer on high heat. Listen, Charlotte, while you're weaving your web, I'll be burying my body inside another host to go and get fed. You want to talk dead? Who are you? Once you're found, all a human has to do is grab a shoe. Now you're squished, you won't be missed in your wish. Instead of 6 eyes, you had 9 lives and carry disease like Lyme. When people pop their shirts off and come looking for me, who's really the better bug when it comes to hide and seek?
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Dutch Boys Durafighter is an interior paint and primer in one with a top lasting formula. It provides great scrub resistance and durability with remarkable hide and a smooth finish. Save big on Dutch Boys Durafighter paint at Menards and start your next project today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Tired of calling Andy and Brenden? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Lenore Sellers, there's more optimism, apparently, according to the reports out there, for his chance to play against the Tigers in the Rio Columbia this Saturday. 875-KTGR. If you want to call or text us here with your thoughts on Mizzou, South Carolina, as we get ready for that one. Do want to mention also on the Chiefs side of things, I don't their first injury report came out today as they get set to take on the Giants. Not too many big surprising things on there. Xavier Worthy limited once again. Seems like he's kind of trending towards playing. We'll see if he maybe gets a full one in at some point this week.
Yeah.
But not quite yet, according to what the report shows. Interesting that Jalen Royals gets in a limited practice. I believe he was a DNP the last few chances that the Chiefs got to release those reports, and he hasn't played yet. But if he gets a chance this week, then that's obviously some reinforcements that, we don't know how much of an impact a rookie like that still trying to come back from an injury can make, but at least something that you consider as the Chiefs still have taken some hits in that room. The 2 defensive starters that came out of the game on Sunday against the Eagles, Mike Dana and Christian Fulton, both did not practice today, so not a whole lot of optimism there, unfortunately. But on the wide receiver front, could be interesting how those 2 guys progress, and I think Worthy's playing this weekend, and be interesting how they decide to treat Royals.
Yeah, that's a good call. There have been some inklings and reports and rumors and murmurs about Xavier Worthy probably looking to give it a go this week. Not surprised to hear that. Again, we talked last week, and I told you, he probably plays last week. Didn't end up happening, but I have been of the belief that like it's just a matter of eventually they're going to tell him to trot it out there and give it a go, and we'll see how it is when you really have to experience that full contact. And so I would almost be surprised if Worthy doesn't give it a go on Sunday night. Now, making it through the game could be another matter. I'll be rooting for him. Royals a little bit more obscure because I just don't know as a mid-round rookie how much playing time he was projected to see if he was fully healthy through, all of the preseason, which didn't end up being the case. So they could be a little bit more conservative on him, and that wouldn't really surprise me either.
It will be interesting how they decide to treat it. Again, they've got to try and piece things together as much as possible so that Rashee Rice can get back by week 7, and maybe that will bring their offense to the level that we expected them to be. But for now, they got to work with what they got. We'll get to under the bus here in a bit on already some craziness going on the New York side of things. Not quite the team, but like how people are already trying to lay some groundwork for how this game could go on Sunday night.
Okay.
I need to
we'll
pop off on that a little bit. In the meantime,
Sure.
Bottom 5 NFL quarterbacks. I almost said head coaches. That'd be fun if we had a chance to do that, but we'll save that for later. Today it's quarterbacks.
You better hurry on a couple of them because they might not be in the role for long.
It's very true. But bottom 5 NFL quarterbacks. That I had actually the last time we did this, the 5 quarterbacks that are there, and I believe at least all 5 of them that were on the list. Well, 4 of them actually, not even quarterbacks anymore in the NFL, or at least starters.
So we'll have different looking lists, you're saying?
Like Will Levis was on there. And,
right. It's always hard because there's going to, especially as the year goes along, some guys will be starting every week. Like right now, Mac Jones is playing. I'm not really going to put Mac Jones in there. He's a backup. So it's kind of hard to really delineate at times. Today, I'm out for blood. I'm punishing some quarterbacks who maybe I've been a little bit easier on in the past or would have in a previous iteration. But through 2 weeks, it's kind of like our CFP bracket yesterday where I was pretty hell-bent on just looking at the resumes. I'm going to try to look at some 2-week resumes and talk about some of the guys that I have just been making my eyes bleed. So,
oh, boy. Okay. Well, do you want to start and get some of that frustration out?
Not really, because I think we need to. I want this to be a little bit collaborative because I've got a few guys I'm really mad about.
Okay,
but if you've got a locked and loaded list, so, like it doesn't feel like there's even maybe 5 full guys I want to be mad at. I've got 4 that really feel appropriate, but some of the other ones might just be bullying, or ageism. Like I don't really want to pick on Joe Flacco, but is he down the list of NFL quarterbacks today?
He's down my list, unfortunately for him. Like that's got to be.
Well, let me put him at 28 then. I'll say he's 5th from the bottom.
Really? Okay.
Because I want to be more punitive to some of these other guys that should know better. You know what I mean? They should be better. Joe Flacco almost gets a pass for being a grandpa. I'm going to give him a little bit of that senior discount as it were.
Boy, I have number 28, Caleb Williams.
He will be making an appearance on my list.
Yeah, like I knew you were going to be burying him probably more so than is necessary, but I do think it hasn't looked very good recently, and now he's got some more weapons around him. He's got more help around him.
What more could you ask
added
for?
To the O-line a little bit. Now, the thing is, he is still the guy that I think is most assuredly the one that is most likely to be off this list by the time, like even within a couple of weeks, and maybe.
I agree because he's going to be benched for perpetuity. Yep.
Oh no, not that. But
Ben Johnson's going to say enough of this guy.
He will get better as the season goes along. The question is how much better. I mean, I still give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. A little bit. I mean, I'm going to extend that to the number 1 overall pick, more so than pretty much anybody else when it comes to this list.
I almost wonder, though, if it should be the opposite. It's not a rookie. So, like, if we're talking Cam Ward and Billy don't strain yourself trying to to not talk about Cam Ward. He's like, what are we talking about? What?
I'll just say
There's
Cam
no
Ward.
way.
Here's the thing: Cam Ward's not making an appearance on my list. He's not on
Mine
it.
either.
No,
mine either.
You
No,
don't
my
have to.
point
You don't
is,
have to take a pitchfork.
Billy
now,
almost had a heart attack.
I know.
No, my thing is with a rookie number 1 overall pick. Let's see it for a little bit. But what I saw from Caleb last year, I didn't like. I was willing to assign some of the blame to the coaching staff. Eberflus didn't have it. Shane Waldron didn't have it. But then some stuff comes out about maybe Caleb not being quite as coachable as you'd want to see. And then everything I see on Sunday tells me that Ben Johnson is going through hell right now with this kid. So, yeah, I'm not going to say Caleb yet. I'll go Joe Flacco 28th and save a later spot for Caleb Williams. But this is year 2 now. So if you were number 1 and you know, when does that expire? That goodwill, I think, is the question to be asked. But in your credit, Andy, you've put Caleb on the list. So, you know, that's at least a start.
All right. You want to know who I have next?
29th in the league. Yep. 4th from the bottom.
I don't know if you might think I'm a little crazy for this as well, but I think it's still where he should be. Daniel Jones.
Oh, I do think you're crazy for this one. I'm a Daniel Jones believer after the last 2 weeks.
Come on.
I think you get the quarterback out of those bad environments. He could be the new Sam Darnold. I mean, who comes around and really kind of acquits himself nicely in a new place.
He was essentially, like, from the last time we did this, he was last, and I've moved him up to 29. Great. Like, you've done well first 2 weeks. You've got a long way to go to be higher than the bottom 5, I think, still, if you're Daniel Jones. Yeah, good 2 weeks.
I think he's not top 20, but he's probably like 20th to 25th or so.
All right.
For me. So he misses the list. And this guy hasn't been terrible, but I just don't think he's got the chops to get out of this list until somebody else, you know, is so bad that I have to punish them. I'll go 29th, Spencer Rattler. He's, you know, they're not going to put up very many points. The Saints aren't going to have a very good season, and he may be benched at some point in time. I'm not specifically saying he's just been terrible. And this isn't South Carolina hate week thing. This is just, right. I think he's limited in terms of what his upside is to be an NFL quarterback, and he hasn't really shown me a lot. He's got some good grit, some good moxie, but that only gets you so far. He'll be 29th on the list for me, 4th from the bottom, Spencer Rattler.
So you've got 5th worst Joe Flacco, 4th worst Spencer Rattler. I have 5th worst Caleb Williams, 4th worst Daniel Jones. The lists have not been very aligned so far.
Yet.
I'm interested with how this finishes out.
I bet we hit some dingers here with some of the similar names we might have at the bottom. We'll see.
All right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
My number 30 quarterback is Bryce Young.
Talk to me about that, because he won't be on my list. We might really have a different list today.
I expected a little more out of their start
to
the season, and he's down there in a lot of the qualifying categories. He has thrown 4 touchdowns over the first 2 games. That's solid. You don't
put up yards against the Cardinals. That was a sneaky kind of high scoring game.
Good amount of yards. Completion percentage though is way down. It's at 50.
He totaled it, 55 attempts.
He threw it a lot, man. He is tied for the most pass attempts in the NFL right now with Joe Flacco. Somehow the oldest quarterback is the one who's throwing the most. Like, that's got to be terrible. Like, Joe's got to be, bro. What are we doing here? You went and drafted 3 running backs this year. What are we doing? Come on.
I'm sure Cleveland is winning a lot of games with that strategy. I assume they're 2-0.
Yeah, not necessarily. Look, I saw good flashes from Bryce Young last year, and I think I elevated him from the bottom 5 at one point based on how that went.
Yeah,
it's like
we both did.
But now it's year 3. That's a number 1 overall pick. Look, that goodwill has definitely run out, and you've got to start seeing some results. And so I kind of ding him a good amount for that. So I will say that he is 3rd worst in the NFL.
I don't know if he quite has the weaponry that Caleb Williams has. I would say, though, Bryce Young would probably be, if I had to expand this list out, like 27th. He's an honorable mention of badness as far as my list would be concerned. But no, I will tell you number 30. This is hard for me, but I'm going to stick to my gut here. Tua, 3rd from the bottom for me.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm tired of this guy.
I don't have him on the list, but I don't hate the idea. He's definitely near the bottom 5 for me, but I'm Yeah, I have been more of the belief, though, that it hasn't necessarily all been his fault. Like, he's been hit hard with injuries last 12 months. The team around him, I just don't think has a great culture. And so that kind of plays into how everybody looks in that sense. But he is the leader of it. And they decided to commit a lot of money to him. And I don't know if that was the right move. So I'm not going to push hard too much on you putting him in here.
And it may be you and I just have Tua and Bryce Young flipped in what our full rankings would be. That sounds about like what it is. A little punitive because he does have a contract. The head coach, I think, is probably not going to end up working out there. And so we'll kind of see. He's dealing with the Tyreek Hill stuff. There's a lot that Tua is having to navigate. But again, recency, I will go ahead and say, man, it's not been a strong start for the Dolphins team. And the guy throwing the football could help him overcome some stuff. And he has not to this point.
All right. My second worst is Joe Flacco.
Okay.
I just want to
we talked a little bit about
him a little bit more than you did. But yeah, it's
good for him, though. I mean, he's still in the top 32.
Right. So, that's better than most.
Yep.
You know?
If we did our bottom 5, though, and it was 36 through 40, would he still be in there? I think he probably would be in the top 40 of quarterbacks in the league. You know?
I think so. It'd be interesting. Like the Chiefs' backup is Gardner Minshew. Like, would you take Gardner Minshew or Joe Flacco right now?
Yeah, that's a fair question. It's a fair question. All right, my last two are going to feel pretty punitive, and I frankly just don't know what order to put him in. And in fairness, one of them's not going to play this week.
Okay.
So maybe I'll talk about him first.
Right.
Because he did beat the other one. J.J. McCarthy, 31. Dude doesn't have it.
The guy was hurt. The guy was hurt the other day. What are you doing? Like, he said, that's even worse than giving, trying to extend the benefit of the doubt to other guys. Like J.J. McCarthy's played 2 NFL games, man. Like, I get it. He got a lot of time to soak in some info and learn from Kevin O'Connell.
He got the Mahomes year under Kevin O'Connell, and he hasn't done anything with it.
I don't like that team collectively around him at the moment. I do like their coach, but
what's not to like about Justin Jefferson? You know,
no, it's not that. It's like the offensive line, the run game is banged up again, and Aaron Jones is on
Jordan
IR.
Mason is not the answer to fix your run game. I'm sorry, like that's just not going to work.
If JJ McCarthy's going to throw a lot, which he hasn't had to really so far, but if there's going to have to be more of an emphasis on that part of their game, then. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to, but I'm not going to do that to him 2 games into his first year as a starter. Like,
he's not a rookie. I'm going to say I expected better. And he looked like crap in the first game too. He had a nice second half, mostly with his legs to score a nice rushing touchdown.
But he was playing on a high ankle sprain for some of that.
In game 1 against the Bears?
No, not in game 1 against the Bears. In game 2.
I'm talking about. No, he looked dreadful in game 2 all the way through against, the Falcons?
Yeah.
The second game just looked terrible the whole game. There was no reprieve, but that was the game where he's injured. I'm saying it's not just that game. I had to watch the first half against the Bears on Monday Night Football in week 1, and I'm just not sure he's going to pan out. And remember, at this time last year, I was saying the same stuff about Caleb Williams, and then eventually I was forced to kind of capitulate a little bit and come back around on him. And now I'm right back where I started. Spoiler alert, he's my number 32. Caleb, let's see it. Let's let this be a challenge. Ben Johnson, he's got the coaching. He's got the
Are we sure that he has the coaching? We sure?
Ben Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because there's pressure on him too, you know?
Yeah, and Andy, you could make but you know what? I like that he's kind of calling guys out and saying, we're not practicing right now like a team that is championship caliber.
No, I agree that he's saying the right things and trying to change what's been going on. But look, he's a first-year head coach, and he's got a lot to prove also. And the fact that the Lions just put up 52 points without him.
I was just going to mention that.
Right?
I was just going to mention that. In fairness, the Lions are like, after a week, we went, it was all Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was all Micah Parsons, and the Packers defense is really good. What it actually is that the Lions still are the Lions. So to your point, like almost in disagreement with my own, we may not know exactly how good Ben Johnson is. I believe that he is good, and I think you cannot debate that the Bears have done everything you'd want to do for a young quarterback in terms of giving them a upgraded offensive line, like putting money into that situation. He's got weapons on the outside. Odunze, You add 2 rookies that they haven't really mixed in yet. Maybe that's going to be part of it. Maybe Luther Burden and Colston Loveland are hungry and they can help Caleb Williams do his job a little better. Because when you're running out Zacchaeus, and I tell you what, DJ Moore is close to Deontay Johnson territory. Don't be surprised in a year if DJ Moore is Deontay Johnson. And it's just he's a personality issue in a locker room. We will see. But the signs are there right now that could be something that's brewing, which could mean an opportunity, frankly, for Luther Burden. But you've got a lot of weaponry to work with, Caleb Williams. You got to start to figure it out. So right now, he's number 32 for me. That's it. That's the end of my list.
875 KTGR, who is on your list of bottom 5 NFL quarterbacks? My worst was Spencer Rattler.
Okay,
that's
so he's
mine.
Yeah.
And look, the way I did it was it's not like the Saints want Spencer Rattler to be their quarterback. He has to be their quarterback. Joe Flacco has to be the Browns quarterback. Bryce Young kind of has to be the Panthers quarterback, even though they spent a number 1 pick on him and a whole lot of capital. It's a little bit different situation. He's been disappointing there. Daniel Jones has to be the Colts quarterback. That's kind of how I view a lot of this when it comes to this list. Those guys are not going to be starting for those teams, I believe, in 2026.
Daniel Jones could be Sam Darnold, though, and get a contract somewhere if he plays well enough this year. The team I might have been the most wrong about, which is a shame because I felt pretty strongly about both of them. It's the Colts and it's the Dolphins in the other direction. I thought the Dolphins would be perfectly middling 8-9 or 9-8, and they aren't. The Colts I thought would be at best 7-10, and I was wrong. They're going to win 8 or 9 games at least.
Call or text us 875 KTGR here on the Big Show. Who's in your bottom 5 of NFL quarterbacks 2 weeks into the season? Under the bus coming up next. I do need to make sure that New York Sports Radio knows that they are absolutely wrong about this. One host in particular. I'm sure they're listening, right? That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This afternoon Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's rounded rubber, Lee's sells at Lee'sTireCompany.com. Report today from ESPN's Pete Thamel. His sources are optimistic about South Carolina's quarterback Lenore Sellers playing this Saturday against Mizzou. Kickoff 6 p.m. Yuengling Tiger pregame live begins at 3 p.m. right here on KTGR. Mike Dana, Christian Fulton did not participate in practice today for the Chiefs. Wide receiver Jalen Royals is back, but limited at practice after a knee injury. Xavier Worthy limited as well. Chiefs back in action Sunday night against the Giants 7:20 kick as they look for the first win on the season. Cardinals lost the rubber match earlier today, 6-2. They fall to the Reds. 2 hits for Alec Burleson, including a home run. Cardinals will have the day off tomorrow before their final home series begins Friday against the Brewers. Sonny Gray on the mound, 7:15 start. Cole Reagans makes his return tonight for Kansas City after a left rotator cuff strain injury in June kept him sidelined. 6:40 p.m. start tonight as the Royals look to even up the series. They fell 12-5 last night. 2 home runs for Carter Jensen in the series opening loss. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Kretsch's Custom Exterior. Get your very own custom P platform. Mowing services are perfectly landscaped backyard today by calling Kretsch's Custom Exteriors 573-219-6011 or Kretsch'sCustomExteriors.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking temperatures in the mid-60s tonight. We'll see isolated showers and storms starting to diminish after sunset. We'll be left with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow's another hot day as we make it up to about 90 degrees. We'll see another round of showers and storms moving in by late afternoon or early evening, becoming more widespread overnight. Showers start to diminish a little bit as we head towards Friday. Morning temperatures around 64. We'll see a cooler high temperature of about 82. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Join the biggest party of football season at KTGR's Tiger Tailgate. Download the KTGR app and find a full list of locations where you can pick up your free Tiger Tailgate passes. Then come party with free food and drinks 2.5 hours before each Mizzou kickoff in front of Mizzou Arena. It's our Tiger Tailgate with Dive Bar, Bud Light, High Noon, Sing Sang, Lucky One Lemonade, and Mid-Mo Water Solutions. Find out where you can pick up your free passes on the KTGR app.
School's back. Schedules are packed, and the last thing you need is a list of home repairs. So reclaim your weekends with Bax Homeworks, the fastest, most affordable handyman service in mid-Missouri. Whether it's mounting that new TV, fixing leaky faucets, or replacing a ceiling fan, Bax has you covered. No job's too small, and no wait is too long. Visit Bax Homeworks on Facebook for monthly giveaways and awesome prizes. For more, visit BaxHomeworks.com. Bags Homeworks, getting your to-do list done.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, are sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. And boy, do we have some good news. There are currently still seats available, but don't wait, as you only have until October 3rd to book this once-in-a-lifetime trip. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com today.
Hello there. This is Quentin with JQ's On High in Jefferson City. We are looking for skilled and passionate hospitality team members who can bring both front-of-house charm and back-of-house know-how to our unique food service operation. We offer competitive pay plus tips, a fun work environment, and we welcome your creative input on our made-from-scratch menu. If you are dependable, love great food and great people, apply in person today at JQ's On High and be a part of something special here in Central Missouri.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. MIZBETZ.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
On game day, every needs a. And every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal. And a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on the big show.
Don LaGreca goes under the bus. He's claiming that the league is going to rig it for the Chiefs because there's no way they're going to let them start 0-3 on the season.
He's right.
No, he's not right. What are you talking about?
What did he say?
Quote, the league won't allow it. I'm just going to throw it out there. The NFL is not going to allow the Chiefs to start 0-3. There's too much on the line. I'm sorry. Call me a conspiracy theorist. ESPN can fire me. The NFL is not going to allow the Kansas City Chiefs to lose that game on national television to be 0-3. That's not going to happen, end quote. Oh, sure. Like the Chiefs need the refs to beat the Giants. Come on.
Careful.
Come on.
Careful.
Somehow we've gotten to the point where the league is going to rig it against a New York team in favor of a Middle America team. Wow. Well, we have really jumped the shark on the whole Chiefs phobia. Like, we really have. We really have. Like, that's
pretty good.
Something else. That is something else, man.
He's funny, that Don LaGreca.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on the big show.
It's funny on other things, just, not on that. Like,
yes, this was funny. I got a laugh out of it.
Oh, boy. Sweetest thing. Hey, well done, Carter Jensen. I know it was in a losing effort ultimately for the Royals last night. Season's got away from them the last few weeks or so. But first 2 career home runs for Carter Jensen, one of the top prospects in the Royals system when he came up, and gets that moment. And if you saw the replays of both of them, they were both like line drives to either outfield corner. Like he went the other way to left field and just, snuck out a screamer to the left field line. And then he pulled one to the right field side. That's a pretty cool way to hit your first 2 homers in the same game. Carter Jensen, well done.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And you mentioned it. It's not maybe the way that we wanted to see things ultimately go for the Royals. Same can be true of the Cardinals, but there can still certainly be some individual moments and achievements that are noteworthy down the stretch here for both of those teams.
Yeah, Cardinals unfortunately couldn't get it done today. They try to finish out their last homestand on a high note. And Royals will be back at it. Cole Reagan's back today for the Royals off the injured list. They're going to get a couple starts in for him, it would seem, before the season ends. So we'll see how that goes as well. Call or text us here, 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. All right, at 5:05, our SEC football tiers will get an update. How will teams be moving up or down as we have a little more data, at least, as to how teams looked against each other within conference play. So we'll talk about that at 5:05. And then the top 5 NFL quarterbacks come your way at 5:25. We just did the bottom, and now the top. Will it remain the same at the very top for either of us? 5:25. We'll discuss here on The Big Show. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for ProfitShares.com. If you're listening to this right now, I imagine you're a football fan, and I imagine that you like to get things right, especially, the outcome of football games. Well, you can go and predict those right now, risk-free at ProfitShares.com. That's PROPHET shares.com. Again, totally free. You do not have to put anything in. You just sign up. They give you an amount of online points to start with. You can use those to pick games each and every week, enter into weekly contests like the Profit Picks for both pro and college. Make your picks and see how you do against the rest of the leaderboard. The higher you finish, the more points you win, and then you can use those points to redeem them for gift cards to your favorite restaurants. You can also use them to make charitable donations to your favorite causes. So again, if you want a free way to win big with your sports knowledge, go to ProfitShares.com, sign up and start making picks today. That's PROPHET shares.com.
Hey, y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. Tailgating's going to be hard this year. So if you need an easier tailgating plan, y'all, come on into Billiards. You don't have to pack anything. You can leave the cooking to us. We're climate controlled, and our burgers and fries are always a winner. Plus, our TVs are bigger than anything you're going to bring to a tailgate.
Look on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Even downtown parking is easier than tailgate parking.
You know that old driver in the corner of your garage? The one half jammed into an old golf bag that's now serving as a spider hotel? Yeah, somebody wants that driver, Play It Against Sports. They'll pay you for the gear you're not using. Golf equipment, fitness gear, baseball, softball, and more. Bring it in and cash out, or upgrade to something you need for the upcoming season. Play It Against Sports wants your used equipment. They need it. So don't sit on it, swing on it. Play It Against Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainstSportsColumbiaMo.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Positive step for Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels as he recovers from a knee injury. He went through a rehab session and threw on the field today, but didn't take part in work with teammates. He won't practice any earlier than Friday. His status Sunday against the Raiders remains uncertain. Marcus Mariota starts if Daniels is out. The Bengals not ruling out a return for quarterback Joe Burrow later this season. He's expected to miss at least 3 months with a turf toe injury. While Burrow's out, Cincinnati turns to backup Jake Browning. Our Harry Douglas.
When you look at Zach Taylor, who's an offensive-minded head coach, and then you look at the OC Dan Pitcher, you have to put Jake Browning in the best situation possible for this football team. You cannot ask him to carry the Cincinnati Bengals like you asked Joe Burrow to do. So that also means Chase Brown, who is a phenomenal running back, whether he's rushing the football or being a receiver out of the backfield, you have to incorporate him a lot more within this offense.
Jet star quarterback Tyrod Taylor this week in Tampa Bay in place of Justin Fields, who has a concussion. Bills ruled out 2 injured defensive starters tomorrow against Miami, linebacker Matt Milano and defensive tackle Ed Oliver.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush,
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead,
Touchdown, Kansas City.
to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brenden on KTGR.
Second hour here on The Big Show. In a few minutes, we'll update our SEC football tiers. Tell us who should be moving up, who should be moving down from the last week of SEC football. And, of course, just getting started in conference play. So still could be a lot of things in flux. Tell us your thoughts on it, 875-KTGR. You can also comment on our YouTube channel at KTGR Sports. Give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe as well to keep us going there. You can also weigh in on who you think the top 5 NFL quarterbacks are. Today, we'll have our lists coming at 5:25. But first, before we get to any of that, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Lenora Sellers of South Carolina is the chatter player of the week when it comes to the matchup between the Tigers and the Gamecocks on Saturday night in Columbia, Missouri. Pete Thamel tweeting this out earlier today that there is optimism surrounding his status for the game, per his sources. Lenora Sellers has been in practice, and there's positive signs for his availability. That's per Pete Thamel. Tonight will be the first iteration of the week of the mandated availability report that is mandated by the Southeastern Conference. I'm going to say what I've said all week. That report, whatever it may say about Sellers, is not going to sway me in any direction. And I think the Tigers and Eli Drinkwitz will keep their eyes on the prize as well. Don't be confused. Don't let the obfuscation potentially change how you view the week. Tigers just got to prepare for their game. And any games that Shane Beamer may be playing, just ignore them.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
The St. Louis Cardinals dropped the series finale this afternoon at Busch Stadium 6-2 against the Reds. Andre Palante on the wrong side of that one, and the bullpen was touched up a bit later on as well. And, well, it's just kind of been that sort of year for the Cardinals. They did get a nice win last night. Michael McGreevy, 7 scoreless. Still kind of looking for the individual bright sides with this Cardinals season as it wraps up soon.
Number 3.
First injury report of the week now out for the Kansas City Chiefs as they prepare for Sunday night against the Giants. It's a road game. Xavier Worthy limited in practice, as was wide receiver Jalen Royals. I think with Worthy, he is going to end up trying to give it a go on Sunday night. We'll just see how long he's able to play. I'm skeptical that with the torn labrum, he's going to be able to hold up, but hopefully my skepticism proves to be unfounded. Defensive end Mike Dana and cornerback Christian Fulton both did not practice at all today for the Chiefs.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
I don't know if you've seen this Pat Murphy thing with the Milwaukee Brewers, but the short version is he read a letter to the Brewers after they clinched on Saturday saying it was from Bob Uecker. And then the Brewers social media team, hearing that, put it on Twitter and said, and here's this letter that our manager read from Bob Uecker. And then a Brewers reporter said, the team has clarified Uecker didn't actually write this. It was sort of like trying to include Bob Uecker in the celebration. Of course, Bob Uecker passed away before the season began. Bizarre situation straight out of a Larry David show.
Number 5.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
I don't know what Andy will do with his SEC football tiers, but you might have to keep me in a straitjacket to stop including Vandy at the top.
That's the Big Show's top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Man, 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. It was hard enough to try and get him out of the playoff talk with Vanderbilt,
and you didn't succeed. But I think ultimately we found enough teams that resume based. I had to leave Vandy out, but Oklahoma didn't get in either, which was the key for me. I forget who that 12th team was that we plugged in that was like, okay,
it was
that's
Ole Miss.
Actually,
I believe Ole Miss was the team. Yeah.
I think a slight step up in resume through just a 2-3 games. Really, and it's just two games of meaning that most of these teams have played. But by the way, before we get into football tiers, have you seen this Pat Murphy thing? This is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in sports.
Yeah, go run it down again, because I saw a little bit about it, but not much.
They clinched on Saturday against the Cardinals, a game the Cardinals should have won in Milwaukee, and that was a Fox game. And in the post-game celebration in the clubhouse, Pat Murphy walks up and says, "Hey, I got this letter from Bob Uecker that I want to read to you." And it was sort of like, I think, intended to be kind of like just a symbolic sort of gesture of, we're thinking about Bob Uecker, and here's what he might have said about this year's team. But that wasn't conveyed, I don't think, very clearly. Pat Murphy probably thought otherwise, because it included some details about, like, hey, we had the best road record in the league, or like some different details that should have maybe tipped off folks to know that this was like kind of in fun and in remembrance, but not really from Bob Uecker. But he said, here's a letter from Bob Uecker. And when the Brewers tweeted it out, they called it a must watch, as Murphy reads an emotional letter from Bob Uecker, like completely straight. And the players, as far, they're probably kind of confused, I would think, of like, what was this really Bob Uecker? Like, how'd he know we would have the best record? Like, a lot of stuff that was just, I think Pat Murphy thought clearly this is like a symbolic thing, and it didn't play. And the Brewers had to then come out and clarify. I believe Monday I saw a report and them saying, like, this was not land the way that people. Yeah. Bob Uecker didn't write this letter, but how bizarre is this? Where, like, I get how it happened. I think Pat Murphy just was trying to do a cool thing, didn't land. But like, the Brewers kept the tweet up. It's just the whole thing is very strange to me. It's one of the most bizarre situations I've ever seen. And of course, now people go, if the Brewers have an early exit, was this bad, like cosmic justice?
People will turn it into that, no doubt. Like that's how it's going to be. Was that Pat Murphy's idea to just pretend he was Bob Uecker for 10 minutes and write the letter?
Oh, correct. Boy. I am to understand that it was Pat Murphy again, but if you were thinking about it as like a symbolic thing, what you can understand where that might, but you don't write a letter on his behalf. Even like you can say like, this is I'm sure the team that Bob Uecker would have envisioned. You can like say what Bob Uecker could be thinking right now, looking down on this Brewers team and things like that. But like, I think his heart was in the right place. I think the execution was as bad as you possibly could have imagined. With, again, clearly, if I don't know what the players thought, but I can tell you one person thought, hey, Bob Uecker wrote this letter and left it in case the Brewers did well this year, and instructed, I don't know, maybe he knew his time was coming. The social media person clearly thought that, because that's how they tweeted about it.
Well,
and the team has not taken the tweet down.
I mean, I believe that.
And it's a complete fabrication. So they had at least one person fooled, and I bet more, because it was a little bit like watching it, knowing that it wasn't Bob Uecker, and knowing that it wasn't quite conveyed to all parties, or maybe any parties, that it wasn't Bob Uecker. I think he thought it was more evident than it was, that it was just a kind of symbolic gesture. But oh my gosh, is that like an all-timer? It's like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It really is.
Yeah.
It feels straight out of a Larry David skit to me. And it's just like, it's not funny, but it is kind of funny. Like, it's like, I don't know how to think about it. It's bizarre. I know that.
It's a bizarre situation to put you into, which, again, what Larry David had very clearly put himself into in so many episodes from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
But like,
what do you mean it's not?
Whether it was funny or not.
I can't. I can't deal with it. It's so off the wall.
So odd, man. Yeah. I don't know. It's not going to make me like root against the Brewers in the postseason, but like if they
because he didn't mean it. I feel bad. I feel bad for Pat Murphy, because I think he was just trying to do a nice little symbolic thing, include Uecker in their celebration in some symbolized way, but not like that. It just didn't work. It just didn't land to me.
Well, call or text us 875-KTGR. Maybe if you're a Brewers fan out there, tell us if it landed.
Are you worried?
Like, yeah.
Are you worried about the postseason after seeing that?
Baseball gods can be very dirty at times to teams like that. All right.
You brought this on, man. I don't know.
Let's get into our SEC football tiers now. With
here's my label sheet from last week that tells exactly what our tiers were. Gosh, that was smart. Whose idea was it to put SEC tiers 2025 on
I
this
think
Google
even
Doc?
our YouTube viewers will get a bit of a perk as well. They get to see it here if you're looking on YouTube. with all
Right
of
on.
that. Who is that? Are those my tiers? Okay, so
those are Andy's tiers.
Yeah,
LSU,
I just
Georgia,
had a
Texas at the top.
pop up blocking my screen. But either
No,
way,
you hate to see that.
6 total tiers. Yeah, I think there's going to be a few changes to that with based on what happened this weekend. But But yeah, and then let's go ahead. You can show Billy Brendan's tiers now with the with his very long third tier, which I think is going to get only longer now with how he probably feels about a lot of these teams.
I don't think so. I think we're going to have to move some guys around.
All right. Well, let's start out. You can start out if you want, like with your tiers, with LSU, Georgia, Texas at the top. People who aren't seeing it, South Carolina, Tennessee at tier 2. I think he's got a tier 3 of like Vandy, OU, Mizzou, Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn. He's got tier 4, Florida and A&M. Got Mississippi and Arkansas below them. And we both have, that probably will change. And then we both have Kentucky at the bottom on their own tier. And I'll say this, that's not changing. I don't think we changed that based on what happened.
And they didn't play terribly.
Yeah, I mean, they won a game this weekend. They played East Michigan and got a win.
There's nothing that you were going to do. And I think they covered the initial line, but then the target moved, and so they didn't really cover.
Okay.
Defense was a little disappointing in that game. I thought that would be another Mizzou, Louisiana type of score, and they kind of underwhelmed me a little bit. So, Kentucky's going to stay the tier 6 team by themselves for me. And it sounds like the same is true for you, but we can start at the top. I might be making a change at the top.
I
might be making a change at my top tier.
This is
it's not going to be a big change,
I can already
but
see it.
I am going to hold on. Let me confirm that this is the way that I want to go. It is the way that I want to go.
Oh boy.
Top tier, Georgia and LSU. That's
it. Okay.
I'm
That's
Texas.
not as bad as I thought. Okay.
What did you think I was going? You thought I was going to do Vandy?
Yeah. I thought
no, Vandy's gonna move up, but no,
Vandy's still going to be too high for you. But okay. All right.
That's true.
Interesting.
Texas is docked. They beat what was it? One of the correctional schools.
Beat UTEP 27
by
to
17.
10. Yeah,
that's terrible. They were favored by 40, but they were favored by 39. They're 0-3 against the spread. They did lose. They have the best loss in the country, right? Ohio State might be the best team in the country, and you went to their place and lost by a single possession. I get it. I'm going to need Texas to win something first, and they will. That time will come for them, but they haven't looked good offensively in any of their games. I got to see more from Arch Manning before I'm putting him back in a top tier, which I consider to be like true, national title contenders. And right now I'm not there with Texas. They're going to be docked. But LSU, you beat Florida. It was a rat poison kind of game, I think, for LSU, and they still covered a 7-point spread. So I got nothing to say against LSU, like that reporter who had the audacity to question Brian Kelly's offense. They got some things to work out, Andy. They do. But that defense, credit where it's due to Blake Baker. I mean, 5 interceptions of Lagway, who's supposed to be a Heisman candidate. LSU stays at the top for me this week.
And look, so does Georgia. Like, Georgia's got work to do also. And so, like, there's plenty to pick apart with everyone in the SEC now. And I think that's been different than the recent years past with how things have looked, because there have been teams that very much just look the part each and every week, leave no question, leave no doubt, both sides of the ball, do what they're supposed to do, and then some. With this part of the schedule, but I can't say that right now against any SEC team. Like, they all have flaws.
But let's not minimize how difficult it is to go into Neyland Stadium and
no doubt
trail and win. I consider putting Georgia by themselves at the top.
Okay,
but LSU's win was impressive enough. So to me, it was very easy. Texas is the only one to drop, and that's my first tier.
All right.
How do you view your first tier, Andy? Because you had the same 3 at the top last week.
Yeah, it is fair to drop Texas. I'm trying to weigh whether or not I should actually do it.
You wanted them in our CFP bracket yesterday, which I was not on board with.
Well, I mean, look, from what they've done so far, resume-wise, I can understand why they shouldn't be in. They still have a whole lot of talent, though. I mean, it's just stacked from top to bottom, and Arch Manning, I think, can still be okay, and they'll be a team that competes still near the top of the league.
I agree with that.
But
can I ask a question, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
when Red River comes around, who has the quarterback advantage in that game?
Team. That's an interesting question. I guess I would
Isn't
lean
it?
Mateer for that.
I think so,
but
I think I do too.
The other areas across the board, I would lean Texas. I would lean that way on head coach. I would lean that way on defense. I would lean that way on offensive line.
Defense. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a good game this year.
It will be good. That is a very intriguing game. October 11th. It's almost like it's too late. I thought that was usually earlier in the season, but I guess not.
I think it's about in the right spot.
But
here's my concern. Oh,
yeah.
Good. It's a 2:30 start this year.
Yeah,
because I was worried it was going to be another 11 a.m.
It usually has been 11
and we're going to
a.m.
miss it.
Which
yep, but we're going to get to watch that game after Mizzou beats Alabama. Sick.
Very nice. Okay. Man. I'll do it.
Already you're stumped.
I'll do it.
It's a top tier.
I'll do it. I agree with you, actually. I'll drop Texas.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do that. And then
Okay,
we'll
last
go
week.
from there.
Last week, I only had South Carolina and Tennessee in my second tier. My third tier was bloated. You had South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma in your second tier. How does that change? I assume Texas lands with a soft landing in tier 2.
Texas is probably in this tier. South Carolina is not.
They are not for either of us this week.
Let's see. Tennessee
was.
Yeah, they were, but I don't know if I should dock them for that game. I
think I'm going to.
They had it in hand, and I very much can realize that Vols fans are just wanting to tank this season, or not tank the season, but just give up on it already because they had a game in hand against Georgia, and they just let it slip away.
They nearly made the playoff. They nearly clinched the playoff on Saturday. Tennessee did. If you win that game, you clinch.
Wow.
Their schedule is that weak, Andy, that I don't think they could have played their way out of the playoff without if they had that game in hand. But now they've got some work yet to do.
Yeah, so I won't drop them. I'll keep them here.
I won't either.
Texas is there. I won't drop OU from what happened this week. I'll keep them there, and I'll keep Alabama where they are.
They smoked Temple.
Yeah.
And you'll keep Alabama.
Yeah. So that Alabama. 4, I think, is fair to have.
Alabama smoked with Wisconsin. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair way. You dock Texas, they move down a spot, but South Carolina drops out of your second tier. I had a small tier last week of South Carolina, Tennessee. I'm dropping South Carolina. I'm leaving Tennessee. Texas joins the second tier. Does anybody go up? Ole Miss, backup quarterback, fun game against Arkansas. Probably not quite though. For me, I will say I am ready to kind of give Alabama back the benefit of the doubt, and that result. Dominance against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not a great Big Ten team this year. It was a game at home for the Tide, but they did what they had to do in that game, and I believe they certainly covered the spread. So yeah, I'll go Alabama back up into tier 2.
Okay, so again, your tier 2 is Alabama, Texas. You had Oklahoma there, right? Or no?
I didn't.
Okay,
I just had Tennessee, South Carolina. So I didn't have Oklahoma in tier 2. I'm going to wait. There's a game this weekend between Auburn and OU. The winner of that game elevates to tier 2 for me because they're both sitting in tier 3.
Whoa.
They were in tier 3 last week.
Right.
Auburn and OU.
All right.
And they're the winner. And I had Auburn a step above what you had them. I think Auburn and OU are pretty equal coming in. Oklahoma's expected to win the game, but I've got them as pretty even. And then I got to figure out what to do with Vandy. If I'm respecting South Carolina is better than the market thinks in this moment, then it wouldn't be unjust to move Vanderbilt up into tier 2. And I think I'm going to do that in a respect your opponent gambit for this Mizzou South Carolina game. I think that South Carolina is not as bad as people think they are. And we're going to look back on that win after South Carolina wins, 8 games, 7-8 games, and is at least respectable. That Vandy winning on the road the way that they did against a Gamecock team that's not a bad team. I'm going to put Vandy in tier 2 right now because I think they're a cut above tier 3. I just can't. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Cut above
Vanderbilt's
Mizzou.
A tier 2 team
You're
for me.
saying right now
with the resume that they have built.
See, I don't just go off a resume here. I go off of how good these teams are. Like,
I think Vanderbilt.
That's how I go.
Okay, riddle me this: Mizzou is going to play Vanderbilt in October in Nashville.
Yeah.
What's the point spread of that game if it was played this Saturday? If knowing what we know about these two teams right now, what's the spread?
Mizzou is favored by less than a field goal.
I think you're actually probably right. But the implication of that is then on a neutral site, it's kind of a pick 'em. The implication of that is
the implication would be that on a neutral site, Mizzou is a higher.
Oh, you're
favorite.
right. Excuse me. You're right. Yeah, that's my mistake. Yeah, I think Mizzou might be a slight road favorite in that game. I would say 1.5 Mizzou favored on the road.
I go 2.5.
But part of that is because of just how absolutely massive the spread is right now against South Carolina, which I will continue to come down. Man, this is actually the toughest spot. Billy might have to make an adjustment. I think you're right. When I think about Texas, Tennessee, and Alabama, Vanderbilt is at the top of the next tier for me, but they are going to be tier 3. I'm gonna change it.
All right. Well,
Vanderbilt is not quite tier 2.
We did it, folks. We got Vanderbilt to.
You got me to be reasonable about Vanderbilt.
Reasonable spot here on the SEC football tiers, 875 KTGR if you want to weigh in on them. So, all right. So Brendan's first tier is LSU, Georgia. His second tier, Tennessee, Texas, and Alabama. Vanderbilt is going to be on the third tier. Who else is on your third tier?
I think it's actually just almost. You're right. You're going to end up being right. It's almost as large as last week. It's Vanderbilt, it's Missouri, it's Oklahoma, it's Auburn, it's Ole Miss. It's all of them because I think all those teams are playoff contenders until they tell me that they aren't.
Okay, so that's 5 teams right there. Wasn't as big of a tier.
Nope, it was 6 last week.
Yeah,
it was 6 last week. I moved Alabama up, and that's really the only change. I was trying to find a way, Andy, to cut between like almost split that third tier, and I just can't do it. And Oklahoma and Auburn are going to do it for me this weekend. Right. Missouri is going to, if they beat South Carolina, suddenly I might move them up depending on how it happens, even though South Carolina's taken a fall from grace. But yeah, that's my third tier. It's 5 teams this week.
All right. Vanderbilt, OU, Mizzou, Ole Miss, and Auburn. All right. On my third tier, I've still got those 6 teams there. All right. So I have Mizzou.
Oh, no.
What'd you miss? What'd you miss?
Well,
go back to Brendan's on YouTube.
Deeper.
Yeah, go
Texas
back there.
Texas A&M joins the second tier.
That's
they
right.
moved up 2 tiers for
yeah.
me.
Ooh,
I mean, I was lower on them because they were playing with their food in some of those games. And they were a tier 4 team for me last week, but they have to be moved up.
That's a good catch.
That's a heck of a win.
That is an excellent win for them to get. So yeah, I agree with that. Put them in tier 2. I actually need to put them in my tier 2 as well. So we're making Billy work a little bit on that. But
so you've got 7 teams in the top 2 tiers, and it will separate at some point. But I'm just saying that's 7 teams aren't making the playoff from the SEC.
No.
And that's where it gets really tough.
No, that will not be the case. But that's what you have to at least consider now with the strength of those teams and whether they will end up beating each other. They will play each other. They will hand losses to each other, and teams will get pushed down probably unfairly based on the stature of their team, but that's just the way it works. And so
Mizzou needs 3 of those 5 teams to go 9-3.
A lot of those teams that they are not playing this year to take some losses.
Go
man.
9-3, baby.
They need Tennessee to underachieve against their schedule. They need Texas to take those losses that we all think they're going to take based on how they look. They play OU and Alabama and A&M. So they can have a little bit of say in that, but if those teams win enough, then it makes Mizzou look a little bit better. But the problem is, if they are going up against you in those rankings, you would have the head-to-head potentially, but what if you don't? And there are too many teams that are log jammed. So it will be very tough, I still think, for Mizzou to break through there. But
yeah,
that's why we play the games.
A&M beating Notre Dame maybe knocks Notre Dame out of contention, but it's harmful for Mizzou in that now A&M is going to have to drop 3 conference games,
right,
not to be a playoff team, and that's not one I had been counting on. So that's a little bit tricky.
And look, you can hand them one potentially if you're able to do that.
Beat them. That might be the biggest must win, Andy, as we kind of look at the bubble of what the playoff could look like. If Mizzou's 10-2, that might be one of the ones you need.
If they're 7-1 going into that game, then they really are going to need it with that. All right, so A&M in this top tier, along with OU, Texas, Tennessee, and Alabama. So Mizzou is in my next tier, and I believe Vanderbilt is here too.
Okay, because you had Vandy in tier 4, you're moving them up.
Right, yeah. And then
last week you had Ole Miss in the 3rd tier. I assume they stay.
They are still in the 3rd tier, yes. So I'm keeping them there. And I'm thinking about Auburn. And so you didn't have Auburn here last week. They didn't
cover against South Alabama.
Yeah.
But talk to me about your thought process.
Well,
there. Not to say you couldn't make an adjustment. We won't be like that AP voter. If we say, look, I might have missed it last week, then we just adjust.
This will start to be their gauntlet that they need to survive to really move up these tiers.
Yeah.
At OU, at A&M, hosting Georgia, hosting Mizzou. Like we're about to find out about them. So I guess I'll put them here, not in tier 3. I'll put them in tier 4 still. So because you're right,
okay.
like nothing they did last week should dictate that they should be higher. But I guess that means I have kind
chance.
yeah, exactly. And I think that means I have a light tier 3. I've got Mizzou and Vandy and Ole Miss, and that's it.
And Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yep, because you just have more teams that you're crediting OU up to tier 2, and you're crediting. Well, that's it. That's you move them up, but I've
and
also
A&M,
given additional credit.
Too. I've credited.
You
that.
did. Yeah, you have 5 in tier 2. I have 4. Basically, the difference is that I don't have OU. I have them in the 3rd tier. I've also, from below, added Auburn up to my 3rd tier to make it 5 instead of.
Here's what I will actually do, though. I'm putting South Carolina in this 3rd tier too.
Okay, above Auburn.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
I agree. Yeah, that should be the case there too. South Carolina's still on the same tier. I know they're unranked. I know that they took a hit.
Yeah.
They don't look all that great through their first 3 games, particularly Lenora Sellers. I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, again, health was part of that. He didn't play the second half of the game against Vandy. So, but what we've seen so far from that team has been underachieving. I still believe that the talent on that group is enough to say, hey, you can hang on the field with anybody in the in that tier that you're with, and even some of the teams that are above you. Like they will give Alabama a run for their money later this year, and other opponents that they face on their. I believe they play LSU. I don't think that will be an easy game for LSU. So I still am putting it's easy to pile on South Carolina for losing to Vandy at home by 24, but I still think they're a very solid team.
Oh, and that's kind of been my whole argument. The reason I think they fit better in a below tier is because I think South Carolina and Florida are very similar at this point. They just both underachieved. Whereas, I want them in the same tier.
Okay.
And then I think I also want to include. I might have one fewer tier this week. Let me look and see. In that tier, I think we're talking about tier 4.
Yeah,
I think I want to have only 5 tiers myself because I think I would go South Carolina, Florida. That's kind of like you've underachieved, but you're not necessarily better than Arkansas or Mississippi State right now, who have not underachieved. They've overachieved, in my opinion. I wonder, though, is Arkansas and Mississippi State actually as good as South Carolina and Florida? They probably aren't. So maybe I'll kind of leave it.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so Arkansas and Mississippi State, that's still mid tier 5. Mississippi State, they both have a chance to move up. But yeah, South Carolina, Florida, that's my 4th tier. Arkansas, Miss State, my 5th. Kentucky alone in number 6. I think that's 16 teams.
Yeah, you got it. You're good. But I think that's fair with how that's gone so far. I will say, so you've got Florida and South Carolina there. You've got Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Kentucky. All right. I think mine will look fairly similar. Certainly at the bottom, my 6 and 5 are the same as yours. Mississippi State, Arkansas on the same tier, Kentucky on its own. Do I have one less team than you? Oh, I have Auburn on the 4th tier instead of South Carolina right now. Okay.
And Florida, does Florida join Auburn? I guess is the question.
Yeah, I think Florida and Auburn are on the same tier.
You had that the same last week. All that's changed is Vandy has bumped themselves up to your tier 3.
Yes. All right, there we go. We got it done. The SEC football tiers.
You got to talk these things out. Sometimes you got to talk them out.
Yeah. And if you were watching on YouTube, you saw the additions as they went. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. Tell us who you would want to see near the top of the SEC football tiers. Here's who's moving up, who's moving down. We'll talk our top 5 NFL quarterbacks now as we continue to rank things here on The Big Show, KTGR.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Winter's on the way, so now's the time to plan your tree pruning. Here's why. In winter, trees are dormant, which means they're less risk of disease. Plus, without all those leaves, it's way easier to see exactly what needs trimming. The educated, licensed, insured, and experienced crew at Advanced Tree Solutions knows how to protect your trees and your wallet. But spots are filling fast, so schedule your winter pruning today at AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. Advanced Tree Solutions, LLC, your tree's best friend.
1851 Underground is one of those cool joints the family would enjoy going even if the food wasn't good. But it is good, really good. Famous burgers like the 1851, topped with pulled pork and hickory bacon, or the Fire and Ice chicken sandwich with Cholula honey and pepper jack cheese. The Baja fish tacos with crispy fried cod and avocado cream sauce is another favorite. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground in the historic Brick District in Fulton. Find them on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to leave those regular malt beverages in the doghouse and adopt Lucky One Lemonade. Made with real vodka and real juice, Lucky One is a premium alcoholic beverage with no artificial flavors, no bubbles, and is only 100 calories. With 4 flavors, blueberry, peach, raspberry, and regular, and money from each pack sold goes to help rescue dogs find their forever home. Come taste Lucky One Lemonade at this year's Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. From backyard hangs to tailgate sips, Lucky One Lemonade is the upgrade that your cooler deserves.
Columbia just got armed. Minutemen Defense is your new destination for guns, ammo, and tactical gear that means business. From holsters and body armor to night vision and magazines, if you need it, they've got it. Plus, the cheapest ammo in town, guaranteed. Located right off I-70 and Rangeline for fast, easy access. Locally owned, veteran approved, built for serious shooters. Minutemen Defense. Get there. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. And boy, do we have some good news. There are currently still seats available, but don't wait, as you only have until October 3rd to book this once-in-a-lifetime trip. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com today.
Drove your new Defender, 63. Got an offender bender with an SUV. No need to shout, don't go crazy. Just get your phone out, call FPP. They do all the work with your insurance company. 1, call the number. 2, take it in. 3, get your car back like new again. Take from me, they make it hassle-free. You can't go wrong with the easiest 3. Just a 1, 2, 3 with FPP.
FPPBodyShop.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
Call or text us with who should be moving up or down the SEC football tiers, 875-KTGR. Hey, look, we both agreed on Vandy, tier 3, where Mizzou is, and where several teams kind of in that same grouping need to be at this point. Ole Miss is in there. I put South Carolina there still, but there's still a lot that could be shuffling around as teams start to play each other.
Yes, and I will make this case, and I think I fell victim to this myself, but if the Alabama logo was beside 45-3 to Charleston Southern, 44-20 to Virginia Tech, and 31-7 to South Carolina, I don't think any of us would have hesitated to put Vanderbilt in the second tier. Well, and so I think their resume is better than people are going to give credit, but I also do think there's still a gap because it's Vanderbilt, and I don't like that I've fallen victim to that. But when I look at some of the other, like, in reality, I might have given Alabama credit too prematurely because they haven't really beaten anybody too different than what Vanderbilt has done.
Look,
Wisconsin and South Carolina, kind of similar.
Again, the talent gap is not as big anymore. That is absolutely true. It still exists. And so, like, you have to at least account for that. But look, NIL has started to affect even the SEC now with making the top team closer to the bottom team all of a sudden in talent.
Yeah, tell that to Kentucky.
Roster.
They're still down there.
I mean, sure. But,
but yes, largely your point is well taken.
The teams like Vanderbilt that stayed there the whole time for years and years and years, now all of a sudden are not there. And look, I think a lot of that is coaching. Like Clark Lee, I think is at least a top half coach in this league. There are good coaches in this league, but I think he needs to be considered in like at least the top half of them.
When you see 11 or so SEC teams ranked in the AP top 25, it's right.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it does mean more. I've been this SEC homer, and there's a reason the quality of competition in this league is extremely high.
All right. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. Let's debate once again now on the quarterbacks.
All right.
We did the bottom five earlier. We had very different bottom five lists, but I didn't have too many disagreements, I think, here or there with who you put in versus the others, except for Caleb Williams. I mean, it's a little too much, but I had Caleb Williams there too. Top five could be a little interesting. Do you want to start?
Top five right now, right? It's the top five right now.
Top five
We're
right
doing
now.
our list today.
Yeah.
So it's right now.
Yeah, right now.
All right. Just check it on the rules before we get started, before
top
somebody
five
gets
right
mad
now.
at me.
You're fifth right now. Fifth best.
Doing this, I think I've got the five. I think I've got the five names. Am I ready to give Justin Herbert all that sort of credit? Did I put him in my top five?
I'll just let you know I'm not.
Okay. This is gonna be Baker Mayfield, number 5.
Okay. All right.
I've talked all week about how impressed I am by Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And
I don't disagree
right.
with you. I really think your head's in the right place on that. With how he's played. I have Joe Burrow at 5. Which
it's very difficult since he's out for the year.
Right.
Basically.
Like he's not going to play again this year, you'd have to think. And
or if he does, it's week 16.
Yeah, anything like that. But look, I still think very much the talent is there. The fact that his team is now, he didn't look great week 1. Like that offense really should have put up more than 17 points against the Browns. Well, the Browns have a good defense, but I won't ding him for that one game. I won't overreact to that. The large take on this still, and the best way to assess this situation is that the Bengals have done everything they need to do on offense to have a championship caliber team. Everything. I don't think they have left any stone unturned on that side of the ball. The defense is dreadful. Man. Like just
it's gonna be a long year.
And look, maybe you question a little bit. I say no stone unturned. Maybe you question a little bit of the offensive line because Joe Burrow's taken so many hits, but I still think
I think you do.
There's still a whole lot of talent that he brings to the table. And when he puts in a full season, he was MVP worthy last year, but his team just wasn't good enough to elevate him to the top of the MVP conversation. So he's still in my top 5.
What, and clearly this is okay, kind of ignoring the injury. What if he's different after the injury? Will Carroll sort of hinted at this a little bit yesterday, and I've heard this from other places as well. This is not just your little turf toe get better. Like, this is scary a little bit.
And that is something to watch. Like the Joe Burrow that I've seen still, like is the caliber to which I would rank him still as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. But if he comes back and he's not necessarily firing on all cylinders anymore, especially with the weapons that he has around him, well, then maybe there's some trouble in Cincinnati with that situation. But for now, I'll still say 5th best.
Before we talked to Will, I saw a tweet, and I cannot find it because I can't remember how it was phrased, but it was something to the effect of Burrow is more likely with this injury to never play again than he is to be completely unchanged by the injury.
Gosh,
and that scares the crap out of me with a talent like him. hopefully that, he's the outlier. I feel like it still just happened. Dak Prescott with that gruesome injury that he suffered a few years ago. I thought, is he ever going to play again? And of course he's returned, and these guys are superhuman. So I'm going to believe that Joe Burrow is going to make it through and come back on the other side of the surgery that he's had. But this is a unique one, as we talked with Will yesterday. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I did not include Burrow, but frankly, I was thinking like, okay, with the injury, that my cop out is
right.
I'm going to credit a guy that's going to be playing this year.
Okay.
It's not an anti-Burrow stance. He's right there. Herbert, like Burrow 6, Herbert probably ends up 7 on my current list.
Okay.
But they're honorable mention.
So who do you have as 4 then?
I thought about, does this guy really belong? And at the end of the day, if I asked myself and made it a list of like, if I had a favorite team, which I really don't, but if I did, who are the guys I would want? That separated this guy from the others when in that honorable mention category. Jalen Hurts is on this list of the top 5 quarterbacks, and he's at number 4 for me. You seem to disagree, but and again, the quarterback, if we're docking him for being not a pass
winning.
thrower,
He's done a lot of winning recently.
Dude wins, and like until they outlaw the tush push, you can't take this guy off the list, because that short yardage ability for a team to just say it's automatic that if we're in 2 yards to go on 3rd and 2, we got a first down. On 4th and 1, we got a first down. It's not traditional what he does at quarterback, but it's the position he plays. And if I were fantasy drafting, if I were redrafting the NFL, if I'm taking a bunch of other quarterbacks above Jalen Hurts, I don't know. I think we're doing it wrong. He's number 4 for me. But I'm curious who your number 4 name is going to be, because it could be someone really good that I've overlooked.
It's not. So Hurts, I would say, would be 6 on my list if I really went down to the top 10. My 4 is Baker Mayfield.
Is Baker.
Yeah,
okay.
Like I'm with you, man. I'm on the train. And look, like I think it matters that he's made like 2 offensive coordinators head coaches in the time that he has been in Tampa. Like that is the mark of a guy that makes the offense look the way that it should be. And ultimately, that's what a quarterback's job is. It may not be putting up the best numbers. It may not having the most talented arm or the most accurate pass or the prettiest ball or whatever it is. It's just about making the right play. And Baker Mayfield does that almost every time out. He doesn't win every game. He's not going to be the most talented guy out there. But I mean, the unspoken thing about Baker Mayfield is off the charts. So I put him as number 4 for that.
And I think he could get just about anybody to run through a brick wall for him. Okay. I just think he's a heck of a leader too.
Yeah.
For him to go through the stuff he's gone through as like, now I'm a scout team defensive end in practice wearing a red penny in Carolina. I just think that something comes along with that journey that changes you a little bit as a person, as a player, as a leader, that like people around him have to respect the hell out of that guy. So there's a lot of value to be had there. The top 3 that everybody assumes is going to be the top 3. It's your top 3. Should I reveal whether I have the same top 3 names? I'm not telling you the order, but do you think my top 3 in some order are Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar Jackson? Do you think that, or have I punished Mahomes enough?
See, I will guess that it is not that for you. Let's reveal though after the break though, what your top 3 is then.
Okay.
But I will guess that you have done Mahomes dirty. But
okay,
we'll
see.
We'll get to that after this live local sports center here on the Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells at leestirecompany.com. Report today from ESPN's Pete Thamel. His sources are optimistic about South Carolina's quarterback Lenore Sellers playing Saturday against Mizzou. Left the second quarter against Vandy last week with an apparent head injury. Kickoff for that game, 6 p.m. The Yingling Tiger pregame show begins right here at KTGR at 3 p.m. Mike Dana and Christian Fulton did not practice today, but rookie wide receiver Jalen Royals and Xavier Worthy were both limited. Chiefs will look for their first win of the season Sunday night as they take on the New York Giants. Sunday Night Football, 7:20 start. The Cardinals lost the rubber match earlier today. 6-2 they fall against the Reds after a 3-0 win last night. 2 hits for Alec Burleson, including a home run. Cardinals will have the day off tomorrow before they begin their final home series Friday against the Milwaukee Brewers. Cole Reagans returns for the Royals this evening after a left rotator cuff strain injury in June. 6:40 start tonight, as the Royals look to even up the series against the Mariners. They fell 12-5 last night, but Carter Jensen had his first 2 home runs as a Royal. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast of Crest's Custom Exteriors. Get your very own custom PFAP platform mowing services or perfectly landscaped backyard today by calling Crest's Custom Exteriors 573-219-6001 or Crest'sCustomExteriors.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking temperatures in the mid-60s tonight. We'll see isolated showers and storms starting to diminish after sunset. We'll be left with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow's another hot day as we make it up to about 90 degrees. We'll see another round of showers and storms moving in by late afternoon or early evening, becoming more widespread overnight. Showers start to diminish a little bit as we head towards Friday. Morning temperatures around 64. We'll see a cooler high temperature of about 82. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Truman the Tiger. M-I-Z. Marching Mizzou. And of course, the traditions of Mizzou football live here. Join us Saturday. Mizzou opens SEC play against South Carolina. Our coverage begins at 4 on your home for Mizzou football.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
When you need power, reliability, and performance, there's only one name, Kubota. And at Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, we've been your trusted Kubota dealer for over 50 years. From Kubota tractors built to handle the toughest job, to Kubota zero-turn mowers for a flawless cut, to Kubota side-by-sides that take you anywhere, Kubota delivers. And when your Kubota needs service, our expert team keeps your equipment running strong because we stand behind everything we sell. Power through any season, tackle any job. Get it done with Kubota. Visit us at 1702 Business Loop 70 East, Columbia. Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, your home for Kubota sales and service.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
You've already met a few members of the Family Pond family. Now it's time to meet the newest one. Family Pond's South Columbia location is just off South Providence. And just like every family pond, it's got a personality all its own. Different jewelry, different tools, different gadgets and gear. That's the beauty of the family. No two stores are exactly alike. So after you stop by your favorite, swing by South Columbia. It's your newest Family Pond store to explore.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pond.
Welcome to Macadoodles. Macadoodles does game day like nobody else. Whether you're tailgating or hosting a watch party, Macadoodles has you covered. With more than 3,200 wine labels, 1,500 spirits, and 600 craft and imported beers, and delivery right to your tailgate or doorstep, the days of making a beer run are over. Macadoodles delivers, providing unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Drive through today or come inside and experience our world-class customer service. Who does game day like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest. Show me safe coverage wherever you go. We got you covered at Big O.
Buckeye is your fall savings destination. Find unbeatable prices on everything farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living. Join the free Buckeye Buyers Club and get even more savings on every purchase, now through the end of the year. Stock up for the season and save big at Buckeye. Not a Buckeye Buyers Club member? Sign up free at buckeyes.com.
This is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants.
For some, the thought of wearing a hearing device makes them feel old. In reality, improved hearing helps prevent accelerated aging. Untreated hearing loss not only can decrease your lifespan, but it can also lead to a faster decline in cognitive abilities and increase the likelihood of dementia. Come see us at Hearing Aid Consultants for your free hearing evaluation today. Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmaker Repair Lab in Jefferson City. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got the Big Show on KTGR.
All right, top 5 NFL quarterbacks. You can text us yours at 573-875-KTGR. We've revealed half of the list, basically, for both of us. Brenden has Baker Mayfield 5, Jalen Hurts 4. I have Joe Burrow 5, Baker Mayfield 4. Brenden is going to reveal now whether Patrick Mahomes is in his top 3 as he should be. But give us that, Brenden. Go ahead.
The deep tease, huh? The other honorable mention that should be considered, I want to bring up Jordan Love, I think could be on a rise, but he is not my number 3 quarterback.
Okay.
My top 3 are indeed the correct top 3. We can debate whether they're in the correct order.
Okay.
I'll have Mahomes at number 3 at this point in time. Mahomes 3, Lamar 2, Josh Allen 1 is my list of the top 5 quarterbacks right now.
The list is Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 2, Patrick Mahomes number 1.
You did a good try. You put Lamar over Josh?
No, I said, did I say Josh 3 or 2? I meant Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 2, Patrick Mahomes 1.
You may have said it that way the first time. I don't remember.
Okay. But yes, I have it. Mahomes, Allen, Jackson.
Okay. And there's, that's a tier, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
Credit Jalen Hurts for winning the Super Bowl, but I think there's a tier break after the top 3, in my opinion. And so, they're all neck and neck, and they'll continue to trade spots as time goes along, I suppose.
Neck and neck is a stretch, but you can say they're on the same
other
tier,
two haven't.
But there is
The other two haven't had a better career than Mahomes, but right now they're playing at a much higher level.
Right now, Patrick Mahomes currently owns infinitely more Super Bowl wins than all of those quarterbacks.
He does
right now.
I think I just said that they don't have a better career than Mahomes.
Right
they
now,
don't. But right
Patrick
now, the way they're playing,
Mahomes has never lost to either of those quarterbacks in the playoffs. Right now, that statement is
that's accurate.
True.
That is.
So right now,
I don't believe it will be by the end of the year.
Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, and not overreact to anything you might be seeing in 2 weeks of NFL football.
He might not get the chance to lose to one of those two guys in the playoffs this year, the way things are going. We'll see.
Okay. The Chiefs will be in the playoffs, and once they are there, I don't think it matters. They'll still win.
It does. I just want to know. Make sure they get there.
They will.
11-6.
Even if they have to go to those stadiums to beat those quarterbacks, they will still do it because they've done it before. Billy,
what's your Super Bowl?
My Super Bowl is Chiefs and Packers.
I'm Packers Bills.
Okay. Billy, what you got?
I was going to say today, if I gave you the Chiefs or the field in the AFC West.
Oh, in the AFC West?
In the West. Because I think it's only the Chargers that can legitimately challenge them. So I don't get a benefit by picking up the Broncos and the Raiders.
Yeah.
But again, if I've made the case that the Chiefs aren't going to win the division, that just means I am that big of a believer in the Chargers, I suppose, at this point. But it's close, Billy. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. The better bet, though, is to just say the Chargers are going to win the division instead of anybody other than the Chiefs winning the division.
I think, I'll take my odds boost on that if I'm placing it as a wager. But it's a fair question because, fundamentally, I don't think it changes my opinion, but it would change the odds a little bit by a market that would say, the Broncos have a chance. They made the playoffs last year.
So, again, the top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Brenden kept Patrick Mahomes in the top 3. That's at least, it's fair enough.
I capitulated on Vandy, and I didn't go too far with the Mahomes slander. So, I think I had a good show. But I right now, the way that Mahomes is playing, and it's only 2 weeks, and it's not all his fault.
He's running around everywhere. It's just his offensive line does need to gel more, needs to get more experienced. And he needs Xavier Worthy, he needs Rashee Rice. This grouping has not been great so far.
The Chiefs have won a lot of games the past few years with Mahomes being more of a game manager. What's interesting right now is that I think it's recognized that he's got to do more to elevate this year's team, because his rushing totals, even through 2 games, are like he's running more.
Oh, he's by far leading the team in rushing through 2 games. Yeah,
and so they got some issues that are not Mahomes related. And I'm fully here to acknowledge that if and when they miss the playoffs, it will not be because Mahomes has had this significant decline. But I think as the universally professed best quarterback, his role is to elevate this team, even if it's a bunch of bums. His role is to elevate him.
I think he has actually. Like he has elevated them, but you can only elevate them so far, even if you're the best in the world.
I agree. And they've played 2 good. They've played 2 playoff teams so far this year. So It's not as though the 0-2 is equal to an 0-2 if you'd lost to the Jaguars and the Giants. But they get to play those 2 teams soon. 3 weeks from now, if they're 3-2 and like all is well, like he's going to get to play Lamar Jackson this year. He's going to get to play Josh Allen this year in the regular season, and then we'll see if there are some meetups in the playoffs as well. I can't wait for each and every one of those games, because I think those 3 quarterbacks are playing at such a level that is different than the rest of the field. But Mahomes is going to have his work cut out for him to match the other 2 guys this year because of the other things that are going on with the Chiefs.
So if you disagree with our lists, call or text us at 875-KTGR, top 5 and bottom 5 NFL quarterbacks as they stand right now. Thank you to everyone for joining us. We will be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Be sure to join us for some over-unders. And we'll also have Play Fade Eliminate for you, get you ready for the fantasy football weekend. Here on KTGR, you can tune into ESPN Radio's coverage of Padres Mets coming up next. And we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. He's Brenden. He's producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.